And I'll talk to you about why I just went wow in a minute, because I've just noticed a bit of perfection on my old chops. And it's not often I see perfection on these old chops, guys. So when I see perfection, I need to comment on perfection on this 50-year-old face, because it's such a rare event. Dime qué es lo que esperas. Dime qué quieres ver. Hello beautiful ones, welcome back. Now then guys, in today's video tutorial makeup thing, we're going to be looking at this, which is the Revlon Colorstay. This is the long wearing pressed powder. I've been dying to try this for weeks. I bought it about 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, I've been yearning for a white powder. This isn't actually white powder, it's more like an off. It looks very, very white on camera, but it's more like a champagne-y sort of beige, I guess is a good word. Ivory. Should we settle for ivory? So I stop waffling too. If that sounds like something you guys want to find out more about, and we'll have a close look at this today. Keep watching or stay tuned, whatever. To start that bit again, might have to, but hopefully not. Editing skills are essential for YouTubing, beautiful ones. Oh, I'm facing a real dilemma now, guys. Do I refilm my intro or do I just carry on regardless? Shall I carry on regardless? It's just me, guys. You all know me, don't you, by now? And we all love each other, don't we? Our beautiful YouTube family, which is growing on a daily basis. So that's so lovely of you all. Thank you so much for being with me today. It does mean the world to me. Today in England is a lovely autumnal day. I would say it's very, very cold. I've had my heating on since 6 a.m. this morning. Why am I talking to you about the heating in England and my flat? And no, shall I carry on? We'll talk about this one, which is the whole point behind today's. So, this translucent pressed powder has quite a few claims to it. I'll read them out, or I'll put them down here, or I'll sort something out anyway. But the first claim is, sets makeup for a shine-free finish that lasts all day. So we can tell by that grandiose claim that this is a very long-wearing formulation, and the Colorstay range from Revlon is designed to last onto your once you put it on your skin, the foundations, concealers, and the whole range is designed to last for up to 24 hours. But I mean, again, who would want a makeup to last for 24 hours? That's a sticking point for me. It always will be, and it always has been. Just seems really odd. It seems like a sales gimmick. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to say do you know what I mean all the time today. I'm trying to curb that one. No, I'm not sorry. As far as pressed powders go, beautiful ones, this is quite an expensive powder. It was around £15, so around $20 US, and I'll find that out for sure, and I'll pop that down there, link it into the description, and possibly do both, so I'm feeling very generous today. So do you know what I mean? Just said it again, didn't I? Does someone mind counting how many times I'm going to say, do you know what I mean today, please? And just let me know in the comments. That would be great, because it's getting to ridiculous proportions, or what's the word? Shall I shut up? And okay. Right. And I guess for the price, £15, and it's only I think it's 8.4 grams, something like that. We need to expect quite a lot from this. I mean, most pressed powders come in at around £2 or £3, something like $5 or $6 US or cheaper. So we're definitely talking more of the premium end of drugstore makeup, really. Certainly not premium, though, but at the higher end of the drugstore makeups, which I think Revlon is anyway. It does sit at the top tier of drugstore found makeup. And this pressed powder is brand new, guys. I haven't touched this, although I've been dying to open it for weeks, as I said at the start. So shall I open it without any further ado? It comes in just a clear plastic box, and it's got quite a nice little holder. Do you know what I mean? So wasting loads of plastic mites. That's number 3 or number 4, isn't it? Okay, so right, no spun. Oh, well, there is a little. This is the product out of the clear plastic box, and they don't need them anymore. Throw them away. So yeah, it comes in a really, I'd say that's really classy. It's black, it's plastic. Black and plastic. It doesn't always equal classy, but I guess this is giving me vibes of higher end pressed powders. Again, for £15, it should do, shouldn't it? So that's the product itself, and it's just a basic bog standard compact as far as I can tell at the minute. And I don't think the camera's going to pick up that it's just a very off, almost like a white, not a chewing gum white, but we decided on ivory, didn't we? So there's no mirror in the top bit, but hopefully there'll be a mirror underneath. So, there's the mirror. Looking a little bit foggy. Mind you, I've just had a hot bath. It could be me. I could be steaming everything up. This could cause me issues because that looks like this is giving me memories of the pan stick. No, was it the cream puff from Max Factor? Which, if I remember, I'll try and link that into the description. I did a short on that. I had a nightmare trying to get into the powder puff because it had a plastic seal over it. Although the plastic seal was very cunningly hidden from me, so I couldn't actually see the plastic seal. And I was slapping it all over my face, just wondering why there wasn't any product being put down from the powder puff. Turns out I'd left the plastic seal on it, so. I'm a bit paranoid now, I guess, about plastics, but no, that's velvet because that side looks shiny, doesn't it? So, yep. Why am I smelling a powder puff? Don't know. No smell at all to this, but I'd say that's really classy, wouldn't you guys? Just defog the mirror so now you can see what you can see. Oh, fuck. Don't do that if you're feeling a little bit nauseous or. I think for our first application or application, guys, we ought to just try the black puff that came with it, if that's okay. Well, that's what I'm going to do anyway. So get a good layer of that one on, and I'll just try it. Oh, you shouldn't never do that, guys. Never go in with fingers, although once or twice wouldn't hurt. But if you keep doing it, you're going to be transferring the oils from the tips of your fingers onto the powder. And you'll get that hard, crusty, shiny sort of film, which will prevent you from picking up any more powder. To avoid that, just go in with a brush or just your powder puff, but never use fingers. So that was a bit naughty of me. As I just said, though, once or twice wouldn't really hurt, but okay, so. Using the powder puff as I've instructed. Wow. That was just a couple of strokes on the powder, wasn't it? So I'll have to come back because the lights are really bright in here and it might not show up very well, but we don't want to look like Coco the Clown, though, do we? More Coco Chanel, I believe, don't you guys? Yeah, I reckon. Let's have a look at that. Wow, it's very mattifying. So this wouldn't give you any glow, so I'm thinking now that this would be ideal for matte for oily sort of skins. It's certainly not. I don't think this would be suitable for dry skins. Although, no, let's not form any opinions yet, shall we, beautiful ones? So that's the area there. I don't think you're going to be able to see it on the... No, what I'll do now is, because you can't see that, is I'll just put some... Very dusty though, but it is a powder, so I'll put a strip down here, and I have had a shave this morning. I don't prep my skin at all when I'm doing reviews for you beautiful ones out there, so it's a little bit more on there. And what we're looking for here is not to look like Casper the Ghost, or what's the clown off? Is it? Pennywise, that's it, isn't it? We're aiming not to look like Pennywise the Clown here, guys. That was a very small amount I put on there, though, guys, and that's... Oh, wow. That is covering... So we can already see that a little bit of this goes a really, really long way, and it gives you quite a bit of coverage, actually, doesn't it? Quite liking this stuff so far, but we'll play around with it, and I'll explain to you why I'm in love with white powders at the minute, and... not just at the minute, I always will be, because they're so versatile, and they tend to white powders because aside from the fact they are white, they are very translucent, very sheer, so that they match basically any skin tone, although they will give very dark skin a slightly ashy sort of look. So possibly not for very dark skins. If you have got very dark skin, I would go in with a shaded translucent pressed powder. Getting that all wrong. I think that for us to have a fair assessment of this, I'll need to put a whole layer over my face, won't I? So I'll do that now. Get some. Can you see how? No, you're not going to be able to see how dusting it is. It's very dusty. So I've already said that, haven't I? Yeah, I'm just trying to work out whether it's making me look very white. I don't think it is, though, guys. I think it's disappearing into my skin, don't you, guys? How many times am I going to say guys today, eh, guys? How are you all, beautiful ones? You all okay? Hope so. Hope you're all having an amazing weekend. Right, so wow. Look at that velvet. So can you just... Hang on, do my nose a little bit more. And I'll talk to you about why I just went wow in a minute, because I've just noticed a bit of perfection on my old chops. And it's not often I see perfection on these old chops, guys. So when I see perfection, I need to comment on perfection on this 50-year-old face, because it's such a rare event. Yep, loving this stuff already. It gives you a very buff. When I say buffed, I mean, this is going to be really, really hard to explain, but velvety, that's the word I'm looking for. It gives you a very, 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 very velvety look, doesn't it? Okay, so what I need to do now, all my brushes are still wet because I washed them prior to doing this. I should have done them last night, but me being me, I forgot. No, I didn't forget. It's just something to bear in mind, beautiful ones, that if you moisturize or serum up your skin before you put something like this on your skin, it will grab, and it will the results will be far thicker and far more opaque than if you didn't. And that's why I don't ever apply stuff onto moisturized skin, although you should. I'm only doing this when I'm demonstrating for you guys out there. That's what I'm trying to say there. Should I come in for an extreme close-up? Can you see it's gathering around my nostrils? And there's no dry skin there, so I don't really know what that's all about. Just using this is a slightly damp powder. In fact, it's very damp. Very damp powder brush by Sheer Cover. Another little tip I'll give you guys out there is if you're after the coverage something like this pressed powder would give you, so ultra sheer there, but it will give you some coverage, but you don't know that powdery sort of look. Just go in with a damp brush, make sure you have removed most of the water, and just, do you know what I mean, just circle it, just buff it, and just basically brush your skin with it. Or this is something I like to do frequently, is to go and get a spray bottle, an empty spray bottle with water in it, and hold the bottle around 2 feet away from your face, so you're getting a fine mist of water, or an Evian atomizer or something like that. Just put a light spritz of that over your face, and that will transform your skin away from powdery towards a far more natural, sort of more glowing sort of look. So, but you'll still have the coverage at the same time. So that's today's not major tip, but tip nonetheless. I would demonstrate the bottle technique to you, but I haven't got any bottles anymore. They're all in use with vitamin C sprays and goodness knows what else in them. But for now, I've just used that's looking a bit leprositic, isn't it, or rancid, or it's not. It's very clean. It's just a bit damp still, and that's why it's looking like it's on its last legs. In fact, I might go out a little bit later on and go and invest in a nice powder brush, because I can't keep using that, can I? So please. So gorgeous ones. That's one layer of the Revlon Colorstay Pressed Powder in shade Translucent, and I'm really liking that stuff. I'm just going to see if I can build up on my nose, because my nose tends to if anywhere on my face gets red or textured, my nose is the area that will happen on. So what I did before was I swept it across my face. That was naughty of me. I should have just been pressing it in, which is why it's called a pressed powder. Well, it's actually called a pressed powder, I think, because of how it's made. Although you do press into your skin too, don't you? And all I'm doing here is just pressing that. I'm not even buffing, I'm just pressing it into my skin. And that way you'll get a lot more coverage, a better finish, and also an ultra matte film. You're there, aren't you? Sorry, it's so bright in here. It really is silly, isn't it? I've got two lights facing me. Both of them are extremely bright, and then there's a natural window, which is naturally lighting my tutorial today. So, okay. Right, so now my face is looking where I would like it to be, and I would stop at this point. It's looking matte, although there is a very soft, subtle sheen on my cheek, isn't there? And the end of my nose, which is always a tell for me, is looking quite perfected, wouldn't you say? I'll just remove the excess powder with this old brush. I've decided I'm definitely going out and buy a new one today. Why not? Definitely. Not fair, beautiful ones, is it? Not fair. What I'll go and do now, guys, is go and remove this layer, and then we'll try making a paste with this one. There's a hair on it. Why have I got cat's hairs on? Oh no, it's from the brush. I was going to say, why have I got cat's hairs on? I don't actually have any cats or any pets at all, but I'd like a dog though, but that's not for now, is it? No. I'll go and remove this layer, and when I come back, we'll try making a paste, shall we? And I'll apply it with a brush de foundation, or just a foundation brush would be just as effective, wouldn't it? So this is me back from the bathroom now, guys, freshly cleansed skin. I just got a J-cloth and wiped all of that off. It did take quite a bit of effort, so I guess the longevity and the staying power claims of this pressed powder are pretty good. Although I did notice that it really badly clung just around my nostrils. And as I said earlier, I don't have any dry skin at the minute because I'm about a week and a half post-peel. Shouldn't have any dry skin left anyway. But I believe that this is what caused the gathering around my nostrils. So that's going to go out too. for now, what I've decided, we're not going to use a foundation brush. We'll just use a jug with water and a sponge in it. And I haven't got any beauty blenders at the minute. I must go and get some more today. So that's not sopping wet. It's somewhere between damp and, you know what I mean, soaking wet. So, right. Using a damp to soaking sponge with something like this pressed powder, which has silicones in it because of the claims of its length of wear. So on, we'll do one of two things. It will either hardly pick up any at all, or it will grab and pick up loads, and it would utterly transform the way the powder looks on the skin. I'm hoping, at least, anyway. So shall I stop waffling? And okay, right, okay. And I'm not forming a paste this time. All I'm doing is just applying the powder straight out of the cassette onto the damp sponge. And this sponge is quite holy. It's quite, not holy, but holy. There's got quite a lot of holes that you won't be able to see that. Let's just get that on this face. Okay. Might be onto a bit of a winner here, guys. Very, very, very sheer. In fact, it hardly looks like there's anything on my skin, does it? Doesn't it, guys? Okay. There's a blob on the end of my whole nose. And then what I'm doing is I'm just putting the product onto my face at the minute. And that's why I was sweeping it on. Now what I'll do is I'll go back and maybe put a little bit more on, shall I? Why not? This is going to sound really random and really bizarre, but I always, there's a channel 4 in England. We had 5 different terrestrial channels before the event of cable television and all of that, and I'll talk while I do this. But we have channel 4 in England, and channel 4 in the early noughties did a television serial called Elizabeth, about Elizabeth I, and in that serial Helen Mirren played Elizabeth I. Barbara Flynn plays Mary Queen of Scots, and there's a scene where they both meet, which they didn't actually in reality. I think that Channel 4 were using artistic license there and made that bit up, but there's no documentation that actually Elizabeth I and Mary Queen of Scots did ever meet, although they were cousins. Getting off the beaten track, okay. But there's a scene in that television serial where Barbara Flynn is, I think she's in prison in Fotheringay, somewhere like that. And her skin just looks amazing, absolutely amazing. And I remember thinking at the time, seeing that, 20 odd years ago, thinking, wow, if I could get people to have skin that looks as good as hers. It wasn't ashy at all, though it looked very velvety. And I'll see if I can try and find one of those pictures in picture things and pop it down here. It might be copyrighted, so I might not be able to do it, but I could certainly find a screenshot of it, couldn't I? Just to right, put this next layer on. So I did just notice the end of my nose then looking amazing. So and before it looked a little bit powdery, didn't it? This is the power of water. There, can you see what I mean there? Hang on, is that dry? That should just start to come through. The glow on the end of, yeah, you can see that, can't you, on the end of my nose? Wow. And that wouldn't have happened had we not soaked that first. My skin would now look a little bit powdery, a little bit dull. But can you see how my skin's been brought to life now? Wow. And that will last all day and all night too, because of the bonding agents in this powder. I'm going to remove that hair, which is really starting to bother me now. Once you start blending, guys, you will need to, to work quite quickly, because the fixing agents are desperately trying to fix this lot to my skin, and yet I'm pulling and pushing at the same time using the brush, and the water's obviously interacting with the whole shebang too. But that was a big but, wasn't it? Why did I pronounce the B as a big but? Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't, but right. So that's 2 layers of the Revlon Colorstay Pressed Powder in shade translucent, super long wear, and we used a damp to soaking sponge, didn't we? You can use anything you want. You could use a beauty blender, the sponge which comes with your compact, as long as it is sponged. Do you know what I mean? That's number 7 already, isn't it? God, my tally's going to be huge by the end of today. I can feel it already, guys. I'm on a waffle, on a mission, a waffle for mission today, or a mission waffle, or a bin men. Why don't the bin men do it on Saturday? Don't they? I am really, really, really impressed by this powder. Look at the end of my nose, guys. Can you see my skin there? And there's 2 layers of that one now, and yet it looks like there's nothing on my skin. I've checked it in natural daylight. Skin just looks poreless. My skin looks totally even and perfected. But there's no colour being put onto my skin at all, so my natural skin colour is shining through, which is what you want. Wow. it's strange because it's still matte and yet it's glowing at the same time. So I don't really know what that's all about. All I know is just that my skin now looks amazing and I've got my silly grin on again. But once you beautiful ones have wet the top of the compact, you will need to let it to dry before you can use it as a powder. Does that make sense? Although now we've got 2 uses out of 1 pressed powder, a very, very good pressed powder, I would say. Although a drugstore powder nonetheless. I'm going to put a little bit more on my nose just to see whether we can really make my skin look as perfect or as near as perfect as damn it. Let's see if I can cover those red marks on my glasses, shall we? Not really. Can you see the end of my nose? I just saw it again. It's very fleeting though. It just keeps appearing and then disappearing. It's like a wood nymph or a will-o'-the-wisp or something. I used to love that show when I was a little boy. I think it was Kenneth Williams narrated it. Kenneth Williams was great, wasn't he? Troubled man though, but I think I've fallen in love with this stuff, you know, guys. I really, 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 really like it. It is amazing. Absolutely stunning, and it just makes your skin look amazing. You're there, aren't you? Makes your skin look amazing. I've just put another layer. Did you see? Did I film that part where I put another layer on? Another about a 17,000 layer on my nose, but a 3rd layer. Stop being dramatic. And if it starts to gather, which it has done there, just finger blend that bit away. You may need a little bit of pressure because obviously this has all bonded with my skin now. Now then. I think my skin looks pretty amazing, doesn't it now? And I'm not blowing my own trumpet there. It's not me that's done it, it's this. And that's damp to soaking wet, but utterly stunned, guys. So that's another £15 very well spent, isn't it? In today's tutorial, beautiful ones, we have learned how to transform basically the look, the powdery, awful look, in my opinion. That is only my opinion though, guys. Some of you may like the powdery look, although I think it can make people look older because it clings to lines and pores, but just by doing something as simple as soaking our sponge, we have been able to in effect move the final result of using the pressed powder on our skin away from that powderiness towards what I would consider glowing perfection. My skin just looks amazing now. Feels like a baby's bottom, and that will last for 24 hours now, or near as damn it anyway. That's it for today, beautiful ones. If you found today's tutorial useful, then please do give this video a thumbs up. Similarly, do consider subscribing, hit the notifications button to all of that blah, blah, blah business. Do you know what I mean? Number 9, number 10, goodness knows however many. Okay. Have a wonderful Saturday, guys, and I'll see you all very, very soon. I love you all very, very much. Take care. Hi beautiful ones, how are you all doing? This is me. I've just finished filming this morning's tutorial. I felt the dire need to go into town and go and buy a powder brush because, as you saw this morning, mine split in 2. Nothing's meant to last forever though, is it, guys? Not even me. Heaven forfend, eh? So, and I also got a pack of 3 beauty blenders. This was £11.99, so around $15 US, I imagine, something like that. A pack of beauty blenders were £1 each, so, and they're Superdrug's own make. I couldn't see the point in walloping out loads of money on, do you know what I mean, on prestige or premium brand ones, because they all do the same thing as far as I'm concerned at the end of the day, which is to get makeup onto this 50-year-old face. So, alright guys, I hope you're all okay. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I love you all very, very much. Take care.